it's obvious the president didn't have a good day at that debate. He didn't do well. But, you know, I'm old enough to remember when Mondale and Reagan debated. In the first debate, I mean, Mondale just crushed him. And everybody left saying, well, it's over with. And, of course, we know what happened to that election. I think Reagan carried almost every state in the Union. You know, these debates are interesting. I've seen some polling just this morning, though, that indicates that like 90-something% of the people already made up their minds before debates even start. So I think there's some question about how much they mean. But they're obviously meaningful to a person's supporters. And that debate obviously re-energized the Republicans out there that are supporting Romney.
Speaking of the 47% comment, do you think Joe Biden is going to bring that up tonight with Paul Ryan?
I'd be surprised if he didn't. Of course, the president should have brought it up. And I don't know what the president was advised to do, but my guess is he was advised to be presidential and don't get into the fray and look like you're above the fray and all of that. Well, there's a difference in doing that and being aggressive and making your points and pointing out the differences in the two candidates. You're going to see, my guess is you'll see a very different President Obama in the last two debates. And he's good at that. I mean, he can do it. I've been around that guy, and he's smart, he's intelligent, he's articulate, and he knows what he's talking about. And as I say, we disagree on some issues, but I want a person that I trust and I know is trying to look out for me even when we disagree. I think Biden will be somewhat feisty. He always is. You know, I mean, that's Joe, but Joe is knowledgeable. The one thing that you'll never beat Joe on is the knowledge of government, the knowledge of domestic issues and foreign issues, because he's been involved so long. You know, Ryan is newer to the game, and he, to me, is more of an ideologue. You know, he's a numbers cruncher. And I look at him and I see somebody asking him, well, what about Aunt Josie and her not being able to get Medicaid or something? And I think he would pull out his iPhone and start adding up numbers. You know, I mean, I find it hard to find the heart in there. And I know he's got one, but that's just kind of the way he comes off. I think he's a numbers cruncher. He's got all the answers, obviously, and they're all pretty right-wing answers. And I just, in the end, that's not going to move this country forward. They have lessons, and they do all kinds of things on the internet now, and it's really expanding the horizons of. Well, government typically is not on the cutting edge of things, and they take time to catch up. You know, here in Kentucky, we want an open process and open access to the internet.